Hey everybody, welcome back to Junk Bucket Garage. Today we're going to work on this not quite a piece of junk. Back to the GTO. Alright boys and girls, here's the plan today. We got a small tuning issue to deal with. It's not a big deal. The last time I ran this thing for a while and the engine was warmed up and all that stuff, I turned the key off and the engine did a little run on. So I'm thinking it's just a little too far advanced in the timing. I might actually have that MSD set up a little weird because I changed the weights and I changed the timing curve with the little button and stuff like that. So I might have full advance right, but then it's idling a little high. I might have to change that around a little bit so that when it's idling, the timing's turned down a little bit. But for now, I'm just gonna twist on the distributor and turn the timing down a little bit. The next thing we gotta do is put this tire back on because I got brand new Jegs wheels and these brand new Cooper Evolution Touring tires, and this one leaked. And it was kind of weird. It was a mystery leak. It would leak sometimes, and sometimes it wouldn't leak. So they checked it out, and it ends up that these tires had a barcode printed on the bead of the tire, and it was leaking past that little barcode. So they cleaned that off, scuffed it up, and they put a little bit of sealer, I guess, on there. I don't know. They also scuffed my brand new wheel up. Just saw that, so that's awesome. Thank you, tire people. So we're gonna get those two things done, but most importantly, we're going to get this convertible top pump, the rams, the hoses in, all of this stuff up here that the convertible top latches to. We're going to get the latches, pins, hooky, grabber onto her thingies in there so that we can, and that's the other thing, is wiring the convertible top switch up. We got a little trick we're going to do with that because those switches have a habit of burning out because of the load that that pump motor puts on it. And that switch is very basic. They run power into the switch, and then the switch does all the load handling, controlling. And the switch really isn't robust enough to take that for very long. So we're gonna do our own little wiring system back here so that all the switch is doing is triggering relays back here. So we'll talk a little more about that when I feel like it. Because in Wednesday, I got basically 3 days that are work days. So I work during the day, and then I got 3 after work afternoons to get this wired, all of the trim put on, and this latching mechanism ready, the pump, all that stuff in, because after waiting over a year, it's finally going to the upholstery shop to get the convertible top put on. Yes, excited. And of course, or not of course, I don't know why I say of course, like you know, I have new bumpers, front and rear. Maybe we'll stick those on and make it look beautiful. But first things first, let's get this tire back on there. Ready? All right, got that done. Now we can let the car down. Something else I got to do that I keep forgetting about, and it's just one of those things where I was like, okay, the whole chassis is rebuilt now. Brakes are done, front end's rebuilt. I'll put the front shocks on later. And later just kept getting later and later and later, and then I drove it the first time, and it was doing this thing in the front. You know, like this, what I'm talking about, when you don't have no shocks, and it goes like that. So then I thought, oh, hey, I didn't put shocks on it. So we got to get shocks on the front of this thing too. And seeing as how this isn't a factory, what do you call it, all original, perfect concourse restoration, I'm just going to go down to the parts store and say I need shocks for this. Those ones are too cheap. Those ones are too expensive. Give me them ones right in the middle. Seems to work, at least. Find out. So, I don't know. What should I do first? Start it and tune it and drive it around? Oh yeah. Well, scratch that idea. The starting and tuning it isn't going to happen first. It's going to happen after I work on the convertible top, because I just did the head gasket on this and I forgot to buy more of the anti-getting hot liquid that goes into the heat dispersion tank. So I'm going to have to go get some of that. But there's one thing that I hate more than anything, and that one thing is starting to work on something and then somebody forgot something, so you have to make 17 trips to the parts store. So I think I have everything I need to just crack down hard on this convertible top. I don't know. So I'm going to do that first. Then we'll start it and drive it and tune it. When I send somebody to go get shocks for it, and then on the way down tell them, oh hey, also and as well, I forgot antifreeze. Well, startup attempt number 1 failed because my electricity tank right here is out of electricity. You know, I just wish for one gosh darn time I could leave a car sitting for half a year and it would be fine when I get back to it. Swear. All right. The I don't know, what do you call it? Irony of this is? Irony? I don't know. We'll call it flubble of this is, I just bought a brand new red top Optima. And it is in the 84 Fox body that I gave to my friend. And that is not here because I'm at my pop's place. So, I got 3 brand new batteries running around somewhere. As a matter of fact, this is a brand new battery too, but you can see here, this is one of those supper starts, and I don't know, I don't like them. I don't like you, battery. Something about the way you look at me. You'll start some stuff. Won't be no stuff. Or something. Don't like these batteries. This one is actually, what's 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 7 years old, if my math is correct. This thing was brand new when I bought it 4 years ago. I don't understand. Quick update, look what I found. The cheapest pre-diluted antifreeze. We're gonna stick that in there. And then I gotta find the battery charger. My dad said it's a stand-up one. So, wow. So it's a stand-up battery charger. It looks exactly like this. I just gotta find it. If you guys see it anywhere, let me know, okay? Stupid. All right, pour antifreeze in it, charge the battery. And go. As soon as I figure out how this camera works. So I poured antifreeze in it. I'm getting ready to charge the battery. And some of you, I'm just gonna get out ahead of this right now. Some of you might ask, why am I using the cheapest antifreeze that there is? And my answer is simple, and it takes me back to an ancient Chinese proverb. He who uses cheap antifreeze has money left over. That's why. While I was getting that out, we'll call it a battery charger, since I can't think of what it's called right now, I found this fanny pack. Yeah, we'll be wearing that the rest of the time. I'm gonna use it for nuts and bolts and a potato. So here's what we got. I got some of these. I've never seen these before. They're pretty cool. I'm running pretty low on them. But basically they are plugs that you can put on wires. Right? Waterproof connectors, special tool to crimp the ends, and then these waterproof plugs clip together. Handy dandy. And Bob's your dad's uncle's cousin's best friend's dog's groomer. It even has this thing so that you can take them out. Guys, this is how projects go. I was looking for these top ramifiers for the, anyway, they're in there. They're actually, these new ones are all aluminum. They're really nice. It's a nice, and hopefully they work good. When I was looking for these, I saw this box that was unopened. And mind you, before I show you this, my dad is on his way into town right now to get shocks for the guitar. He's on his way to get shocks for it right now. So we just called him up on the phone and he said, oops, guess what? They've been here the whole time. I work on so many projects, guys. I order parts and parts and parts. And sometimes that happens. Sue me. Whoopity-doo. So here's the new pump sitting in there. I don't know if that's how it goes. It might go, you know, the other way. It's 4 holes, and it's just got these 4 rubber grommet leg things. And I'm assuming you just put a little bit of lube on those and you stick them in the holes, and that's how you mount the motor. But I gotta find out which way that motor goes in. And also, and therefore, here is the wiring for this pump motor that comes off of that switch. So I should have known this was here. I mean, I put this whole car together, right? But I won't have to run wires from the switch to here because, see those? Those are already there. I'll use those for my trigger wires for the relays. So the only thing I should have to do is make sure that switch is powered. And then I'll check back here that the switch is triggering power to one wire, the other way power to the other wire, wire it all up back here. So the only thing I should have to run is a mains power, mains power, this ain't a house, power from the battery tank, electric tank with a big fuse, hide it, of course, I got everything else hidden, sneak it down probably right along this wiring loom that's already in here, and just get a good strong 12-volt source back here. So basically what's going to happen is I'm not going to have keyed power to this pump or to the 2 relays. The main power will just be on pretty much all the time because I'm going to pull it right off the battery. But that switch and the power to trigger the 2 relays should be keyed power. So you won't be able to use the convertible top with the key off, is what I'm saying. Even though the relays will have supplied power to them, the trigger wires will not be able to operate without the key on. At least that's the idea. At least it should be. If it's not, I'm going to make it that way. And then we should be good to go. But now, because I didn't take hardly any pictures when I took this car apart, I got to figure out where the pump goes orientation wise, where all the hoses go, get those cylinders installed, get the pump installed. Hopefully you guys can hear me over this plethora of birds. I mean, oh my Lord, what's happening over there? I think the birds are plotting against us. These, I need these. I looked in all my boxes and I couldn't find them, so then I looked on these and they were still there. I gotta get those. I'm gonna put a little lube on them. Hey guys, listen. If you learn anything from me, please let it be this. Take lots of pictures. And when you take nuts and bolts off, put them in baggies. Label the baggies so you know where they go. I didn't take pictures, I didn't label anything. I am certainly paying for it now. We got the pump ram arms in. We got some hoses routed. I'm gonna have to find a way to make those not do that. We're trying to install this motor, and it's basically these rubber butt plugs that go into these holes and then lock into place. The problem we were having is when we line it up with those, that hits right there. And while trying to figure it out, I noticed that this one on this side is lower, so they're kind of clocked a little bit. So I'm going to turn the pump around, and hopefully with this lower port it'll actually go underneath this piece right here. I kind of bashed it in with a hammer a little bit. Don't judge me, it's my car. And so we'll turn this around, and then maybe when we lock it in, it won't hit, it'll go underneath that. It's worth a try. So we turn that pump around where that's lower, and now it clears everywhere. And as a matter of fact, I was having a little trouble lining these plugs up with the holes, but now they seem to be lining up a little better. So I believe that is the orientation that the pump is supposed to be in. Just if you're doing one of these, remember one of these ports is higher and one of them's lower. It's clocked a little bit. That lower port goes toward the front of the car. Useless information. Alright, first step of wiring is to get this switch doing what I need it to do. So I had to pull out this air conditioning vent and pulled out this ducting, and that got me to this plug right here. That's the lead coming off of my switch, and right now there's nothing, that switch isn't plugged into anything. And then this is the third wire off that switch. So what I need is power to this wire, then hypothetically when I hit the switch up, it'll power one of these, and when I hit it down, it'll power the other one. First, I need to see where I'm going to get power from. I'm going to just use this fuse block right here, and these two prongs right here are hot all the time. These two prongs down here are only hot when the key is on. So that's where I'm going to pull power from, to this black wire, so that my convertible top will only work if the key's on. That way nobody can open my door and let my top down without the key or something. So that's the next step, is to get the switch powered with key on power. And then I'm going to check this plug right here with my test light and make sure that that switch is distributing the power like it's supposed to that plug. Then when I plug that in, that plug back there in the back will be my two trigger wires for my new relay setup. Alrighty, sports fans, we figured something out here. I got that wire clipped on to that lug on the fuse block, which only has power with key on. I pull this through here. Can you hold this real quick? If I pull that through there and then had two more hands, I could show you a trick. So I'm gonna check this one side, and the switch gives me nothing, but now I turn the key on. That power is on the up, and then the other one powers down. Okay, so go in your home. So now theoretically I could plug that back in, and then this factory wiring for the convertible top will be my trigger wires now, once I install my relays.
I'm gonna go in the house.
So now I got the key on. You saw the switch work. I plugged it back in. I had a little trouble. I wasn't getting power with the convertible top, and it ended up wiggling the key, just a little jiggle. It was being picky. So that started working. Anyway, I ran it out, and now I got power back here to this plug. So what I'm planning on doing is cutting this plug off and leaving enough room where I can go ahead and plug this back into here and then just pigtail off the... I smell burning again. I definitely smell something burning. That's not good.
I don't smell it now.
Maybe it's just lingering. I think it was actually the dome light bulb just had dust and dirt all over it. So I think that bulb was burning off dirt. So yeah, that plug will plug back into there. That way that's pluggable. But right now I need to start building my relays and wiring. The first thing I got to do is get power. I think I'm going to just take power off the starter and get it up in here somehow, and then put the fuse probably under the dash. Or an easier way would be to take power right off of the post and tuck it under here and put the fuse under here where I can pull it out, put it in. All my wiring's tucked under there right now anyway. But I'm not a big fan of getting too much clutter. You know, you see them methed up rigs where it's got 50 wires coming off the power post. I'm trying to keep things neat. That's why I'm thinking of maybe taking it right off the starter. I don't know. This is easier. I like easier.
You can go up under here and put it on the wire where you ain't seeing it.
Yeah. I don't want to yeah, I guess it wouldn't matter, huh? We'll see. I'll do a thing. Well, I got underneath there and I tried hooking that up to the starter, but then I had a little problem with the exhaust manifold being right where the wire needed to go. So I had to do what I didn't want to do. It don't look too bad. I got it connected to that post there. I tucked it back here where all the rest of the wiring is tucked. And then I got what do I got? I got that pulled too far that way. Well, there. Now I can get to that fuse. It'll just tuck right back in there out of the way. Got it run through the firewall and didn't pay attention, and that is all the wire I have. Shoot. I gotta get to there. Over the rainbow. Over to here. So I'm gonna scrounge around for some wire. I did pick up some 10 gauge black wire. That'll be another 8 feet. I thought these things were like 10 or 20 or 30 or... I didn't know they were only 8 feet long, is what I'm saying. So, I might be half red wire, half black wire. That's okay though. We'll know what it means. And the rest of the stuff I got is all 12. So, maybe we'll do 10. Only 8 feet. I was thinking they were 12 feet, but I guess because they're bigger, they're shorter. Cool. We might have some wire over there in the wire holder device, but we'll figure it out. We're all hooked up. When I get a fuse in that, after I get everything wired up, I got to get that wire back here. And then once I have that power wire back here, pretty much all the hard work's done. Then it's just all gonna be right here. Wiring a bunch of stuff. Alright, keep going, you knucklehead. I found some more red wire, and I got it all the way back here. So here's my main power wire. Now I just gotta wire up these two relays. And I'm just basically using two relays because one's gonna be power up, one's gonna be power down. And then there's some numbers on here. You can see there's, I don't know, can you see that? Can you see it? Can I see it? Can you see it? No. Okay, so 85 is ground, so I'll ground that. And number 30 is going to be battery power, that big red wire we just ran. And then number 36, is that what that is? 86. Anyway, the one on the left there, that's 86. That is going to be the switch. So one of these wires here that's coming off of that switch is going to go to that. And then number 87A or 87 is going to go to the pump. And then what will happen is we'll have 12 volt power here. And then all this one's going to do when it sees 12 volts is trigger this relay and put this main 12 volt power from the battery to this pin, and that is going to power up or down on the pump. Simple. You can look it up, Google it. I'm gonna find a place to mount these right there ish. Ground the pump itself here. And I'll also use that ground to ground both of these relays. And then I clipped this wire off the pump. And I'm just going to extend those out with a red and a yellow and put a spade on them to connect to that 87 pin. And then I'm going to use the end that I clipped off to connect to here. And then those are going to be my two switches over here on 86. Is that what it was? I think so. Yeah. Anyway, that left one. And then, of course, main power will go to here. But see, I got to figure out a way to make this split into two wires. And goofy me, I didn't bring any kind of anything to do that with. So it might just have to take some of the shielding off, cut the end off, and then solder it on there where this just Y's off, and then put two spade terminals to connect it here. I think that's kind of my only option right now. I'm running out of daylight, shop light. I'm running out of lights. It's getting late, so I'm gonna get busy. And boom, there's my two relays wired up. Now we got to test this system, and we'll put some that takes transmission fluid. Put some transmission fluid in there and try to run these arms up and get them bolted in. So we're getting close. That took me a lot longer than it should have because, I don't know, I didn't plan ahead. So anywho. All right, here's the test. I got the battery hooked back up. I put a 30 amp fuse in that main power feed. Now here's the cool tool of the day. They named this after me. It's called a power probe. Basically, you hook it up to your battery, and this is power. And you can touch it to a power wire, and it'll give you a certain noise, a beep. It's like a high beep, and it'll read out how many volts you're getting on that pin. You can also stick it to ground, and it tells you that that is grounded. So you can touch this to anything and it'll tell you power or ground. Just that simple being able to check for a ground is very, very convenient. But now here's the cool part. You can touch this to whatever and push up, and that'll apply 12 volt power to whatever. So you can use this as your starter switch, powering the trigger wire on your starter relay. Push down on it, and that's going to apply ground. So if you have a ground switched system, you can apply a ground. You can also apply a ground to check to see if a ground's bad. And here is the next cool piece. It has an auxiliary ground so that you can ground, say, an electric motor. You can ground the case of the motor and then use this to apply 12 volts to the power and check and see if it works. Basically, this handy dandy little tool does what a test light does, and then also so much more. So I'm just going to go ahead and check my power to it. I have power coming from the battery. That battery's still a little weak, but now I have this plug here. This is coming from my switch, and that's going to be my switched power. So if I apply this here, it's going to show ground. Now I'm going to apply power, and that triggers my pump. And on the other side, if I apply power, that's going to trigger the pump in the other direction. So that looks like it's all wired correctly. The grounds are grounded. The hot, if I could touch it, the hot is hot. And then when I trigger these solenoids from that switch, it's going to run my pump. And there you go. Now I have two relays taking all of the heavy load through a main power wire straight to the battery with a 30 amp fuse on it. The only thing my switch on the dash is going to be doing is triggering those two wires that I just triggered with this that are going to run the pump. And that should be a very safe, easy system that won't burn out that switch, and everything is unpluggable and changeable. If a relay goes bad, I can just unplug it, take the screw out, change a relay. If the fuse breaks, it's right up there under the fender well. I just pop that open and change the fuse. Now let's get some fluid in this bad boy, run these rams up to here where I can get the bolt through them, and then we can start putting on the tensioning wires that go on the top and all of the rigmarole that goes up here that these latches latch onto. Success. Actually, I can't say success yet because I tested it here and everything works, but what about the switch? Okay, well, that shouldn't do anything right now. Up, down, nothing, and then I should be able to turn the key on. And now we should hear that pump move. Up, down. Ah, now we can call it a success. I'm going to try to show you the best I can with just me filming, but I got fluid in there now. That takes transmission fluid. You can see a bunch of air bubbles. I'm going to let those keep moving. I'm going to put some more fluid in it. Then we're going to run this top up and down, but we're not going to close it because these pins that lock down the mounting strip that goes here actually hit this because they're sticking up and they're not folded down, so we don't want to damage anything up there. But I'm going to make sure this fluid's topped off. And then first, we're going to give it a go with this, just triggering the relays manually. Then we're going to actually go up here and hit the button or the switch on the dash and make sure that up is going up and down is going down. If it isn't, not a big deal. I just come down here to this plug and these two wires coming off this plug, and I'll just swap them. And then up will be up and down will be down. All right. Are we going? Here we go. Yeah, it's filming. All right. I put way too much fluid in there, but I got that cap out, so it should just pour right out. But let's see if we can go up. I think this one's up. Maybe that was down.
You have a second here?
I think that was down. This should be up.
A lot of air in it still.
Oh, I see something happening.
Yeah, you got a lot of air in it because when you let it set.
Yeah.
What's the beeping?
Power probe. I see movement. And then that's coming down on its own. That means there's still air in the system.
Yep.
And that actually might be pushing the air out right now when it's just coming down on its own. And that might be as fast as it goes too. I don't remember them being fast.
Not even the new ones.
It's kind of staying now. I still hear a lot of air coming out, but
I think he called for you.
Yeah. Come in here!
oh, catch that, Dad! Catch it! Don't let it hit. Okay, now I'm gonna come back. Oh, it comes back quick. And that's down.
Now try it the other way now.
Now we'll go back up.
Yeah, you got air in there still. And it's going a little faster right there, it looks like, but it's still dropping. So you got air in the system still.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Nothing?
That fuse popped on the main power. That's a 30 amp fuse too.
Are you done?
We got a fuse popped. At least it worked. We'll try to put a bigger fuse in it, then we'll see what happens. But that's the benefit of doing it this way. We burned a fuse out. If we would have wired it straight through the switch, we probably would have burned the switch out. And that would have been a disaster. Now all we got to do is change a fuse.
Yeah, go through here. I need you to pop that plug in for me.
Well, the good news is we did not blow a fuse. I was a little concerned if we blew a 30 amp fuse that was drawing a little too many amps. The bad news is this brand new 4-year-old battery is only got 11 volts. So I think that's why we're not triggering those relays. You got to have good clean 12 volts to trigger them. And that's actually another good reason to use a relay, because low voltage can also damage things, and those will act as a natural cutoff if your voltage gets too low. We're going to throw this battery on a charger, check it again. Alright, we're just trying to get all the air out of the lines, but right now what I want to check is if my uppy downies are wired the correct way here. So I'm going to go key on, top up. Nope, that's down. Down is up. That's down, and it's going up. So we can fix that by simply switching the two wires coming out of here. Do that real quick, and we'll keep cycling this top till there's no more air in it. All right, now those wires are switched. Key on. Whoop, don't start it. And up. Oh, that's doing much better with a charged battery.
Oh, yeah.
And down. And that's convertible top mover up or downer complete. Now we got to install these pins. We got to install this chrome cap and the sun visor caps that go on the end here all have like a provision that this locks into. And then we should be done prepping the top for the part that I have to do. And then we got tomorrow and the next morning at 8, this has to be in another city to start putting the professionally installed top on. And check this out, guys. I had a custom made top for this. It's gonna have a glass back window, not a plastic back window. And that was not an option for these GTOs and Chevelles and things. The only downside is with the glass back window, you have to unzip it before you fold the top down. So it's not quite a seat of your pants, sitting in the car, put the top down. You do have to get out and unzip that glass back window, but I just think that's gonna look so much better with glass instead of plastic. And key off, and let's continue on. Probably do this stuff now. Ugh, don't wanna. Well guys, here we go again with the nice clean replacement aftermarket parts that don't fit. And you can't even get it in far enough to get to the screws. It looks like there's a piece protruding right here that's hitting right there. So do I cut this off or do I grind this off? I'm gonna see if I have the original one and just look at them side by side and see if there's a difference, but I could see where it's just been smashed into that right there and it won't go back in any farther. So, I don't know. Maybe I can bend that up. I might be able to do that. Anywho, more problems. All right, everybody, we got it done. I got all of this, where's it at? Right there. All of this header trim stuff installed. A lot of this aftermarket stuff, man, I don't know. I just don't like the way it fits. Took a lot of bending and cussing and flexing, and got all my pins installed, latches installed, got these cables installed. As far as I know, that's everything I need for the convertible top installer person to get cracking on this convertible top. Actually, the other thing I got to find out is that top well molding that the top mounts to. I think I got it all. Probably not. And hopefully the next time you see this one, it's going to have a top on it and we'll be one step closer. All right, guys. Have fun. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Ask me dumb questions. You know, just have fun with it. I'll see you next time. All right, everybody. We're here in Sacramento. This is 5 Star Interiors. My boy Daniel has been working on the GTO. Let's check it out.